Hey everybody, DayTraderRockStar here with you. Market update, kind of review of what's going on. It is Wednesday night. That would be March 4th. And boy, we are seeing history in the markets. We are absolutely seeing history in the markets. 1,000-point days. 1,000-point days. I mean, it's amazing. So I figured, you know what? Let's talk about some scenarios playing out. Let's talk about some up stocks and trade show and everything, and just say hi and kind of do a little podcast, but not a podcast, kind of a video podcast. You're looking at Day Trading Radio's website. For those that are not familiar with Day Trading Radio, myself, my name is John, but I also go by the name DayTraderRockStar on Day Trading Radio. Day Trading Radio is broadcast every day from, I would say, 8:30 to about 4 o'clock. And we do a lot of after-hour shows, these type of shows, just to market updates. Of course, every week I put out what's called the high probability watch list. It gets us ready for the upcoming week. So that defines all the stocks using the methodology that I teach every day. So if you're into trading and you're getting into trading, you want to learn trading, this is definitely a great place to start. We have a huge community of traders. I'll give you a little tour of the place. Just click on the members area there. Well, if you're a member, then you sign in. If you're not, you can actually watch the show free, but you don't get all the stuff. You don't get the watch list. You don't get the chat room. So when you get on the site, this is what you get. You get our dashboard here. You have my dashboard. This is my screen right now. We have the Bitcoin down here, which Paul is trading, RPM. We have the original RAM bot here, which is one of our divergence indicators. The tick strike, the squawk, the music channels, all the trade alerts that are going in. The rock bot, the tradeometer. A lot of stuff in the chat room. Now I'll open up the chat room right here. It's late, so I don't think many people are trading, but it is busy. The market is busy. So when you log in, your username will come right in, and it'll tell me I'm already logged in because I'm logged in at the office. So I'll put in home here, and I'll connect to the chat right now. There's about 70 traders online right now trading. Let's see if anybody says hi. No one can hear me. I'm not live on the radio. I'm actually. I'll just say hey. See what happens. It is kind of the dead zone right here. We get traders coming on in the chat room usually around 3 o'clock Eastern time, 3 o'clock in the morning. That's when the European markets open up. This is really the deadest time of the markets, probably between 10 and 2. So I'm not seeing too much activity in there. We'll see what happens. Markets behind you could actually see this is the downward trend line, the downward channel here. And what you're seeing is actually I'm running what's called the rock bot. Now the rock bot is a trading bot that I developed over the last couple of years that really applies the methodology. We trade daily. We're trading daily, doing day trades, swing trades, position trades, market, scalps, trading the futures, trading the options, and trading stocks. So all these things play out, but there's so much going on in the market. Sometimes I can't even pay attention to what makes people. A lot of people come here because they like my divergence trading, and and sometimes we miss a good divergence trade, and that's very important because that's usually a certain, a very high probability zone in the market. It is one of our best setups, and they happen throughout the evening. There was actually one right here about 10 or about what time? 9:30, right around 9:30. There was one, and it was a nice one too. It was a low and a lower low and a higher low. So I've programmed in the bot how to identify these and actually trade these. And this has just been released to the members of Day Trading Radio. So if you're interested in that and to have that run on your machine, it runs on the NinjaTrader platform. It's built with their language and stuff, and it's a short, long, flags, the whole methodology. I can't go into it all right now. Just go to DayTradingRadio.com or actually go to the Rockbot. If you go to the Rockbot channel, so this is what you'll get. You'll see everything about it, how it works, you know, the parameters, the back testing, how to set it up, some videos and stuff, and how it works. And you know, there's a lot of information on here right now about this. You also get that tradeometer. So this is not about promoting that though, but if you want more information on that, just go to DayTrader Radio, see the link for the Rockbot. Listen to this video, explains everything. So let's get back to the markets here. Get back to the dashboard. This is what we call the dashboard. And this is the market. So what I'm going to actually do is let's make this bigger. You can actually make that a large screen. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about the markets, and I went to the mall today around 6 o'clock, and it was, where I was in the mall, it was deserted. It was absolutely deserted. And I asked them, we were at Best Buy. My son was returning his laptop. He wasn't up to specs. But anyway, the place was dead. And I asked them, and the lady said it was because of the coronavirus. There's nobody coming in. I said, because I'm always researching. You know me. I'm always researching. I don't care where I'm going. My eyes are out there. As a trader, that's naturally in my blood. It's just kind of like, oh, I see something interesting. Who makes that? Is that a publicly traded company? If it is, I want to look into it a little bit more. So the same thing here. You know, interviewing people about it, and I took some pictures. I'll tweet them out tomorrow morning. I'll show them on the show tomorrow morning. It's like a ghost town. And, you know, and I'm kind of, you know, I'm in the camp that, yeah, media is really blowing this thing up more than it's causing some fear out there. You know, when you kind of compare everything and understand how much they're testing here versus how much they're testing in China and why the different, you know, it's I don't think it's as bad as everyone's making it out to be, but the damage is done and people are believing everything you're hearing. So if there's going to be more, I think there's going to be more cases grow real fast because of the amount of testing. I actually was listening to a pretty good program. They were talking about the lady in the CDC. They said they okayed the new type of, you know, the new testing procedure. Now, they were only testing, I think, 1,000 people a day. Now they're going to be up to 10,000 people a day by Friday. Now, when you start testing that many people, of course you're going to find a lot more people are going to have this. And who knows how many false tests are going through. I already heard that this is a faulty test. It can give you false positives, false negatives. You know, I don't trust anything anymore. Anyway, so expect that. And the market is down 22. So, you know, like I said yesterday in the room, I said, wow, this market's good. If this thing's down 1,000 points tomorrow, I'll eat my shoe. And someone said, bring some ketchup. And Dak just texted me. He says, I just shorted the MES. He just shorted the MES. What did he say here? Shorted 30.95. 30.95 he shorted. So he's in the money a little here. But it went up against him before. He was like, he shorted here, I think. And it popped and then it dropped. And you know what? I don't know how this is going to play out tomorrow when you know, review this video. And this video is out and you review it and you're seeing what the market's doing. But I have a feeling we're going to have a big down day tomorrow. But I did not take a short into this. I'm not playing that game. I'm not playing that guessing game. There's so many different moving parts this week that it's very hard to, you know, the swings are just too big. It's basically gambling at this point if you're taking a shot overnight. It's, you know, it's your own personal opinion. A lot of people in the room think the world's coming to an end and they're short. The other people are maybe you know, think this is overblown and this market's going to rally right back up. So, I mean, no one knows at this point. You have your opinion. You have your, you know, what I want to stick with is right here. A divergence long, a divergence short. I want to catch these moves. I want to make my, you know, whatever I'm going to make on this, how many opportunities it gives me. That's how many times I want to trade. And, you know, call it a day. And we have our great trades. We're in some really good ones now. Let me bring up another chart here. There's so many things I wanted to show you. You know, let me bring up my my charting program here. All right, here's the picture of the S&P 500. This is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with the coronavirus. from basically the when we started getting hit with this about 7 days ago, I would say, or no, 7 days since this drop, and then we've been moving up there. But basically, you can pretty much figure that out and see it on the chart. We gap down, huge down day, 1,000-point down day, it's down day, big reversal day, 1,000-point up day, 1,000-point down day, almost 1,000-point up day. I mean, these are great trading days. Look at the range here. The volatility in those options have spiked. So this is where we ended. And a couple of things we want to talk about. A big area of resistance, a big area of resistance would be, and we're going to go out on the hourly here. Well, I should go out on the 15. I want to show you the results of the spike in the market. This is where we had this candle right here. I think I should go out a little bit. We'll go out to the 5-minute here, because the 5-minute you can see this big candle right here that jumped up like 50 points all the way up to here. It was more than that, yeah. That was the Fed rate cut. That was the surprise rate cut that happened. Oh, right here it is. Right here. Sorry. And we, from that point, we drifted. We sold off pretty hard at the end of the day. It was a big, a big disaster for the markets with the rate cut and everything. Then we have the Biden victory over Sanders and Super Tuesday. Gap market gaps up. We're following it very closely. It pretty much had a huge pennant formation, a diamond pattern actually, the whole day. And right before lunch, it started breaking out. And then I went to lunch. I came back, and this thing was in full-blown bull mode. And we closed on the highs. We're up over 1,100 points, I believe. So now we're down a little on the futures. And who knows where we're going to end up on the futures. We could be down 800 tomorrow morning. I wouldn't be surprised anymore. But the one area we want to pay attention to is what we call the scene of the crime. Scene of the crime is when an event comes out and really moves the chart, puts a big mark on the chart. Mark would be a big candlesticks out of range. It doesn't, there was a news event and there's a huge reaction. So this is where the market sold off. Once you get back up to that level becomes a big level. It becomes a big level, an attraction level like a tractor beam, where the price gets pulled back up to that. Also used, because it's such a big level, it's going to be used as an area of resistance. And resistance is basically price is going to have a hard time getting through that level, because the first time it had a lot of sellers come in there. So you got to think that sellers are going to be looking at this level again. So this is a big level for tomorrow. If we can get through that level, boy, that's going to be interesting. I also said something the other today during the show. It's that today's market today, because we have more information on the coronavirus, we also have the Super Tuesday behind us, that today's action in the market or the next 3 days will probably give us the direction for the next 30 days. And it's just what we're setting up here. So it's going to be an interesting day tomorrow, Thursday. Watch the overhead level here, which 31.37, we'll call it that. I mean, it might be a point or two off, but you know where it is, right there, that spike high. And we're right up there. We're going to actually gap down pretty much tomorrow. If we gap down, I mean, we do have a couple of trend lines. This thing has been climbing up. We have a little trend line here. You could watch that. That's it's holding above 3,000. And that's about it right there on that. So that's the, here's the daily. You have a good argument for a V bottom right here. Stochastics are very strong. There's nothing really bad on this chart. It's quite a bullish chart. Except I mentioned that resistance above us, and we're very close to that, but we haven't turned over. The weekly, still negative. This could end up being just a bounce, a consolidation day, and a bigger move down. I mean, we haven't seen a rotation back into an oversold level in over a year. And that was the last time was when we had that big December market flush that people were freaking out about. When the Fed came out and said something stupid, and the market just took that the wrong way, and we sold off until the Santa Claus rally on December 26th is when the market started to rally at the end of the year. And from that point on, you could see it's been straight up. But each time these stochastics turn back up, I put a line in here actually. This probably goes out on the daily. But once you start to see that turn back up, it's usually a very bullish for a weekly chart. Week candle represents 5 trading days. So it's we are going to get that momentum shift, but we haven't gotten that shift on this yet. We haven't gotten a push back up. We haven't got that rotation. So I'm still out. The jury's still out on the weekly right now. The 5 minute. I mean, it's anything we could read into this? Not really. I mean, it was a full-blown bullish rally today. It blew through everything. You didn't want to be in front of this thing. There was a huge divergence here, and that's great. That was a key. I didn't notice this at the time because this thing happened so fast, and I was actually in a trade here at the time of the thing, so I wasn't really looking for the setups. But looking back at this is exactly what I teach. This is a textbook divergence. When you get a spike and the stochastics fail to return back up to the recent high level, here's the price here, and that's where the stochastics were at that point. And you get a spike back up here on the price much higher, but the stochastics don't even get past that line, and we turn over fast. That is a big negative. That means sellers are underneath and the momentum hasn't shifted. This is a one-time event, and that's what a divergence is. It's that little flush, but the momentum has already shifted. And when that momentum shifts, you can't really see it on the stock, but you can see it with the stochastics. All right, so that's really a key level again tomorrow. And there might have been one setting up here for tomorrow too. If we find a market that's going to head down, you're going to have a divergence from today into tomorrow morning. That's on the S&P 500 cash chart. Different from the futures. The futures are going to be going overnight, so you're not going to get that same setup. ADMA, got a shout out on DAC on that one. We got into this one yesterday. This thing ripped up to 363, almost 370. I think it was around 370 from 305. Huge move. We talked about it yesterday during the show. And the reason we like this, they did a deal at 350. They bought that deal oversubscribed. It really went right back up. Coronavirus came in, knocked this down artificially. You wanted to be a buyer down here. We just happen to be on it right at the right day. Still looks really good. It's a cheap one. It's not one that I typically would push, but I know enough about this stock that we want to buy that off the lower trend line. It continues to look pretty good here. That's just one that a new one that is on the block right now. As of other great stocks, and depending on how this market goes, love the MDT down here. Medtronics, love it down here. But again, everything here has kind of gone down with the coronavirus. This one started turning over before that. I mean, we took profits. This was one of my stocks of the year, so we were in this one for a while. Ended up taking profits probably back over here in January, February. I haven't been in it, and then it started breaking down. And I was glad I wasn't in it, and I was glad I wasn't in it. I'm glad I'm not in it. And then, boom, reversal candle, I'm in it. So I'm in this now. But if the market gets hijacked again with the corona, there's no reason why these can't continue to go lower. But this is on my list of you gotta buy this when you have a sale. This is a great company. So if you're looking at something a little longer term, this is a great one right there. MDT. Some other ones like that. Just before I forget, I'm just the ones off the top of my head. Loving the EXEL. Loving it. Added to it. Have a lot of calls now. Have stock calls. I expect something pretty big out of this. It was between EXEL and AUPH. Both of these are two of the biggest drug stocks that I'm holding. We were in AUPH down here. We were benefited from, the move from $5, $6, $7 all the way up to $25 basically, and then. Because this candle doesn't show the after hours, but this trade actually was up to about $25. that first day after the gap up. They got clearance for their lupus drug, but we're on top of that. That was the greatest trade of the year so far, and we're still in this, and we're expecting this company to probably get bought out before the end of the year. But that's a waiting game. They're coming out with earnings tomorrow. I would take advantage of it if it did pull back a little bit further, But everything looks okay on that. But like I said, between that one and the EXEL. The EXEL now, I really, I'm starting to like this one more and more. And I like how we held that trend line. I like how with strength coming into it. I know there's a big trial that's due end of first quarter. And that's going to be coming up here in the next couple months. So we're waiting for I'm in a lot of drug stocks that are, expecting FDA news. And I'm not going to go through all those, but if you're on the site, you know which ones those are. Let's think of another. Let's talk about another stock that we like. I didn't even do any scans. There was 30 candles reversals today. I'm also doing a little watch list video with you right now. Not a big one, but here's some divergences that are setting up for tomorrow. That actually looks really good. 3M. 3M off the lower trend line. Look at the steepness of this divergence right there. Huge divergence with that downward candle. You're getting the trigger on the divergence. This is a very good divergence. Big, huge candle. I would, it's been a bad stock. I mean, a stop underneath the lows is the best I would say to do here. Stop under the lows, go long, especially on a pullback tomorrow. And just kind of hold on to that because that divergence looks really, really good. So that happens just to be up there. Just found that one with you. I've been in 3M before, and it's been a hard stock to trade. So I'm not a big fan of it, but I love divergences. Hilton Worldwide, definitely affected by the virus. I see the divergence there, a high divergence reversal candle. Doesn't look like it's hit as much as other things. F5 Networks, same thing. Slight divergence on this. I haven't traded this one in years. Not interested. MHK, Mohawk Industries, home furnishings and fixtures, looks like a turd. AOS, same thing. I'm not familiar with this one. AOS Smith. I can tell you there is a pretty decent divergence on this though. Looking at the big picture there, it's kind of a wedge pattern. It's hard to say. I have to look into that what they do. AO Smith. If you guys are out there in the room tomorrow, keep an eye on that one. We'll talk about it. AAL, American Airlines. Not a good stock to be in during coronavirus time. I mean, this can only get worse. Who wants to fly? I know some people who've I know some people who've gotten canceled their flights and chartered their own jet to get home. This is all the airlines. I am in one. I bought one yesterday or the day before because of the pain. It's bounced a little today. But you know what? I'm just a guy who is looking for an overreaction in this. I really, truly, in my gut, don't think it's probably a good idea to be in airlines. Because I don't think this is done yet with the virus. The Harley Davidson, I haven't traded it for a long time. Looking at when it did make those runs, what was the common denominator where we're oversold here, stochastics oversold here, stochastics oversold here, stochastics oversold here, kind of a stochastic oversold, but that one broke down. Oversold now, stochastics oversold here. I didn't follow up on this, but you can tell we're down here. But I don't see myself getting in that. And UAL, another one, not bad. Probably a divergence, double bottom, tweezer bottom. That's again, same thing. I don't know if anybody wants to be part of that sector right now. Here is an interesting candlestick. This is an interesting scan that I do. It's called my 20 bar low on the S&P 500. 20 bar low, meaning it has to be lower than the last 20 bars, but it also is going to give us a stochastic setup here too. So I want a couple things on this. I built this myself. As members, if you're a member, I don't mind sharing these scans with you. Just have to ask me in the room and I'll send them to you, send you my template. This is using the TC2000. So if you are a member of Day Trading Radio, feel free to hit me up in the chat room, ask me for your thing, and I'll send you the scripts for that. So here we have AAL. It's on this scan too. So this American Airlines showed up on my divergence scan. It also showed up on my candlestick hammer scan, which you can see took out the past 20 days, and the beautiful hammer closed on the highs. But Expedia, look at that. I mean, we're going to have a lot of these, but look at the, I'm just looking at Expedia, another travel stock. They're all travel stocks that reversed today. It was kind of interesting. Again, UAL, SVB Financial, I'm not familiar with this one, $202. CFG, Citizens Financial, not familiar with it, but the interest rates were hurting banks. So that's something that happened yesterday. When the banks got hit pretty good. State Street Bank. Today we got that rebound, so we are showing a lot of reversals on this. LNC, insurance. Under Armour's making the list here as a reversal candle. $12 stock. I'm not interested. Not interested. Credit Alliance Data, ADS. This had a divergence, but also had coronavirus. So remember the last 7 to 8 days, this you can put a box on all these charts and look at this downward move. If the stock was just about ready to play out here, this might actually be a good buy here, because this actually had a kind of a little divergence set up. Coronavirus hits, forget about that. You know what trumps everything? News trumps everything. And Trump news trumps everything. So this was actually a good setup. In the same situation where we have an offering or a deal or something at a certain price level, and they buy that up and it stays above that price level, that's great. But if news comes out and it drops back down, you could buy that knowing it's going to probably get back up to that same level before the incident happened. Now, how long is this incident going to last is the million-dollar question. You know, because you probably maybe getting options in this, and then you have that time. You have to worry about your time. It looks pretty good, though. I mean, I don't like it's been going down. What the hell? It's been going down for a year, over a year. I got to look into this a little bit more. Let's go to the next one. Ross Stores, no thank you. Raymond James, American Airlines making the list. We know that. Expedia. Did we already go through? Yeah, then we did one. So we had 12 of them. So that's another scan I did. Some final thoughts on this. I don't want to make this video too long. I would say I'm not in front of my computer. Let's take a look at what I got into today. Let's actually go to the dashboard here. And like I said, I bought some more EXEL calls going out to January. I was in the SPY puts, and I got rid of those. I smelled the market going to rally, and I said, you know what, I don't want to be part of those. So you can see I've been buying these EXEL up a lot. Bought the AXSM. Missed. I bought some biotechs, a lot of biotechs. Want more Veru. LUV, that's the LUV I bought, and you could actually see that I picked up a little Boeing here. I wasn't too brave on Boeing, 277, but we got it when the market was getting crushed. So we're up on all this stuff. I would actually start to look to add to Boeing here, Merck is stuff, but so we went over that. We went over the EXEL. The other ones, other stocks here, the spec stocks are basically FDA stuff that we're waiting for. Apple, let's take a look at the Apple chart. We traded Apple for 24 points the other day, and I haven't been in it again. Look how strong that Apple is. Wow. This is a big level. 30. Very strong. Very strong. Let's take a look at Boeing. Boeing, old retracement trend line. Everything looks great on Boeing. I just think it's going to take its time. I think we have to add to it down here. And I'm not doing the options anymore. I'm buying small shares on this. Like I just bought 10 shares and I bought another 10 shares. And I'll probably buy another 10 shares and work my way up. Just kind of cost average down here. Not a big position, and I don't want to get rolled over. But I can't see this dropping like under 250. But I would be a buyer down to 250, knowing this thing would eventually get going here. But I don't even think we're going to get down through the 270s, actually. Now, this thing, Boeing has its own problems, and it's maintained its trading range here from all those problems. And then the coronavirus came out, and then it got hit. Like, that was kind of a weird way of getting hit, because it was, it was already knocked off its high horse because of all the issues, but it's been hanging in there. The coronavirus, it's almost like people are going to be they're going to cut back on plane production for a long time. I mean, even the Boeing does a lot of military stuff too. I just think it's a great buy down here in that 270 zone. Tomorrow I'll be watching it very close, and if we could get a rally on this, I've seen this thing rally 10, 15 points sometimes. So I'm gonna watch that. Let's just take a look here. I'm just curious because I would think we could get a really good rally on this soon to the upside. Why am I not seeing that? Let me see. Here, hold on. I'm supposed to have a data box. Oh, there it is. So the low is 41, the high is 54. So 14-point move on that day. Yeah, so it could have these 10 to 14-point moves. Low is 68, 82. Same thing. All right. I'm going to be watching that one tomorrow. Let's take a look at one more look at the markets right now. You can see I want to put this in large screen here. Oh, this is the rock bot working right now. So you can actually go to DayTraderRockStar.com and actually follow the bot overnight. You'll hear the alerts and stuff. You'll hear when it takes a trade. I have Thunderbird long and short on here. So there is a short divergence set up on this too. So we'll take longs and shorts. The 5 minute I put down here because I really want people to see the 1 minute, and I adjusted the targets on this so it gives it more time to run. The only thing I still have a pretty tight stop on it. So, I mean, this is big range on this stuff. It's an interesting candle here that's showing up. But I want to keep this running. And again, you could go anywhere, Day Trading Radio, and watch it overnight. Feel free to do that. But even feel better to get into the chat room. You go to Day Trading Radio and sign up for the free trial. If you're not a member, you want to check it out for 10 days free. No credit card required. Just sign up. We'll send you a password, and you're good to go. You want to, again, learn about the markets and start trading. That's the place to start right there. Looks like the market's going to break down to the lows here. Should tell Dak he's in his money. He probably took it off already. He's like, I want to go short. I want to hold it overnight. He'll text me in 5 minutes. I'm out. Plus 20. All right, everyone. I'm Day Trader Rockstar. I'm going to sign off here. I'm going to watch the markets a little tonight. Hopefully everyone has a great day. And I'll see you tomorrow on the markets. Market's breaking down right now, by the way. I didn't follow Dak in on his short. I should have shorted too. This could be a disaster tomorrow. I don't know. I might have to bring a lot of ketchup.